to another episode of the Insta99 podcast, where we've got 99 cards because Commander's number one. I am your necromancer with all the answers, Necrozek, joined by my good buddies Dan and Slothy. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Oh, pretty good. It's finally not snowing, so quite happy about that. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. It hasn't snowed in quite a while here, so that's pretty cool. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm doing pretty good. Kicking myself. I keep saying, "Oh, I'm not buying the product. This set sucks," and then there I am buying the product and building decks. So,
man, I thought we explained that to you last week. Didn't we do a talk here? And Slothy and I determined that the set was good. We outvoted you.
I don't know. I didn't really like much of this stuff, and I didn't pre-order any of the Commander decks, and then I went to the store and I was like, well, I'll buy a box. And they're like, hey, the Commander decks are, and I was like, all right, you've got me. You got me. So I bought them. I'm in the middle of tearing them all apart, making decks. I still can't think of anything interesting to do with the Bant deck. So I'm probably just going to put sleeves on it and maybe do a giveaway with it or something. I don't know. Someone might get a Bant deck.
That's not a horrible idea. I was just telling the guys that I picked up the Grixis Commander deck yesterday, which is kind of a big deal because I haven't really been buying Magic product. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably know that I've been very deep in the Yu-Gi-Oh world. So this was the first time I was buying standard size cards in quite a while. So it was kind of different, but I was really happy with the Grixis Commander deck. I can't wait for my LGS to start getting singles in so I can start picking up stuff from the new set and upgrade it.
I said that I wasn't going to build a bunch from the set, and then it's the same thing. I said I wasn't going to build the Beamtown Bullies. I was like, I don't even know why someone would build a deck like that, and then here I am building a deck like that.
Well, I told you why I would build that deck, so that deck tech for me is coming. Know that it's on the pipeline.
A group hug one?
Yes, very much an actual group hug, not a Dan group hug, guys. Don't worry.
That's fair. That's there were some really cool ones in that. Going over the spoilers last week was actually pretty nice. I was able to see a lot of cards that I had missed. I really liked a lot of the uncommon legends, to be honest. That Esper one, the Quasar, whenever you draw
yes.
Opponent gains and loses. I'm really excited to build that one up, and yeah, there's lots that I've been working on. So it's been fun. My table's a mess.
You know my love for attrition, so that was the first time I got to see that card, and I'm very excited about that one. Do I need more than one Esper deck? No, but am I going to probably build more than one Esper deck? Yes.
Oh, and I'm also up in a problem building my third Jedmir deck.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 3 sleeved up Jetmir decks now. I really, really like that card. And the artwork, especially in the foil and stuff, I was able to pull a foil one. It just looks so nice.
Dan, you have a problem.
I pulled a foil one, and then I pulled 2 more foil ones out of binders from stores.
Oh my goodness. Have you guys, we're tangenting, but I promise it's coming to an end. But have you guys actually got to see the gilded? Is that what they're referred to as?
Oh,
the gilded
beautiful foils, yeah. It's amazing treatment.
They're phenomenal. I want to get a Xander one so bad.
Yeah. Xander's very good.
Oh yeah, that deck list is also coming.
Yeah, the Xander seems pretty strong. The one I think I'm the most excited for is, like I said, that Quasar one, and then also what is the name of it? Giada, that angel. I saw that angel and actually read what it did on the last episode, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. I even pulled the box top Ravison.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled that from another deck to put into this one. I'm going to try. I generally don't really foil decks out very often, but I think having a nice mono white foil shiny angels deck would be nice. It can't be. It's mono white angels, and it can't be competitive. Even full of mana crypts and mana vaults and stuff. It's just going to be a fun, casual mono white deck.
Sure, sounds good.
Yeah, full of beaters. But anyways, like Zach said, we are tangenting. We have a deck list for you guys today.
Yes, This is a Slothy deck, which I'm super pumped about because Slothy builds in a more, I feel, in comparison to our deck styles, when we build Slothy, I think you build a little bit more competitively than I do. So I always feel like I learn something different from you whenever we go over your deck list.
Yeah, I do try to have a bit more of that high power goodness, not to the mean oppressive extent that certain somebody that won't be named here likes to build when he's doing group hug, but
my group hug decks are fun and balanced.
So before we get into Slothys deck, let's go ahead and do a little bit of house cleaning. As always, if you're listening to this, then there's no reason why you shouldn't go give us like a 5-star rating, right? You're enjoying it. We're enjoying you listening. Just continue up the good positive vibes and give us a 5-star rating. And if you actually like what you're hearing, go ahead and comment and like let us know what you're liking, because anytime you guys actually comment on the episode, whether it be on Spotify or Apple or wherever, it helps us tremendously because it gets us more visibility. So if you agree with us, you don't agree with us, please feel free to scream at me in the comments, because I actually read those and care about those things. And if you find any cards on here that you're like, man, that's just a little bit out of my budget, you can always go to abyssproxyshop.com, use our promo code IT99, and you'll be able to get that card much cheaper as a proxy version as opposed to a normal Wizards product version, which, let's be honest, they'll probably come out straight as opposed to curl.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh man, my new commander foils are curled.
Yes, sir.
Curls for the girls on that, yeah.
Got to throw a little bit of salt there because we still haven't addressed this and it still hasn't been fixed, and it's been forever now. But Salty, who you brewing and what are we doing?
So the deck that I brewed for this is Arcum Dagsson, 3 and a blue for a 2/2 legendary creature human artificer. You can tap it to target artifacts creature's controller sacrifices it, then that player may search their library for a non-creature artifact, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle. And I wanted to do Doomsday. So kind of the big goal of this deck is a lot of the ramp in this one, a lot of the creatures are artifact creatures that you can just immediately sacrifice with Arcum to try to get a Mirror of Fate, which I'll get into later, but very fun through my playtesting.
It seems like you don't really see Arcum very much. Like, I know he was just reprinted, which is finally nice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely not a commander. Like, I run Arcum in a few decks that are artifact based, but just I've never actually seen a list of it. So I'm excited to see what you've gone over with it and put into this one, because it seems like a really fun concept to be able to just throw it out. And you can get rid of other people's stuff too, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I was going to say something similar to what you said, Dan. I think the big thing was before the reprint on this guy, he was a very expensive card because I think he was a rare and cold snap, I want to say.
Something like that, something old. I know I have a few in binders and.
So yeah, once this was a really good reprint. God, Wizards has done some things right, so I shouldn't be so pissy about foils. But
I do have to say, I love the legend frame. I really, really like the legend frame that they put onto cards. I think it looks so much nicer than the old ones for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, this already, just looking over it, I didn't want to spoil too much for myself, Salty, but already looking over it, this deck seems like it's super powerful and super sweet. So where would you like to start so we can get into it?
Let's start off with the enchantment. So you got just one Thopter Spy Network, 2 double blue for an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control an artifact, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with fly. And whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card.
So an easy way to get, like swing in, get your draw, then sack it off.
Exactly.
I like it. I like sacking things.
Speaking of card draw,
I'll go over to the card draw here.
Yeah.
My favorite card in Magic, I think, Blue Sun Zenith. X triple blue, target player draws X cards, shuffle it into its owner's library. I love it. It saved me from killing myself when I'm overdrawn. It's really, really fun to hit other people when I've got infinite mana with, and I just like to draw cards, so it's a great card for me too. I love Blue Sun Zenith. I put it in every deck I can.
Mm-hmm.
And that card actually is an alternate win con in this deck.
Is it for reshuffling in like that?
Yeah, that, and you can just use it with spoilers.
If you hit some mana.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. There are ways of creating infinite colored mana in this deck.
You dirty, dirty person. Next on the list, we have Brainstorm, 1 blue for an instant. You draw 3, and you put the 2 cards from your hand on top of your library in any order. Like that.
Yeah. Then we've got Consider, 1 blue. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard and then draw a card.
See, I like that one more, though.
Oh, yeah.
Personal preference.
I like Surveil.
Yeah, it's a great mechanic.
You run Dig Through Time. I never put Dig Through Time in any decks. I don't like getting rid of my cards. Dig Through Time has got such a big cost, so it's very fun to actually reduce it down to 2. But like I said, I just never run it. 6 in double blue. It has Delve, so you can exile a card from your graveyard while casting it to reduce it by 1. Each card you exile. So really, you can get it off for 2. And let's look at the top 7 cards of your library. 2 of them in your hand and the rest in the bottom in any order.
Yeah.
It's solid.
Mm-hmm. Next we have Fran. Sorry.
I was just saying, like, with that card, it does exactly what this deck wants to do. That's the only reason it's in here. I also think it's...
Is it because it Fate Seals?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fate Sealing for a term, by the way, for anyone who's unaware with it, because it's an old person term in Magic, is it's putting things to the bottom of someone's deck. I love Fate Sealing people's cards.
That and Delve is a very powerful mechanic with what I'm trying to do with this deck.
I guess if you did say at the beginning you're trying to get rid of your whole library and Doomsday, so I feel like losing the graveyard is not a big deal to you.
No, not in the least.
Sounds blasphemous to me.
I was going to say that sounds anti-Zach there.
Very much so. Don't Bajuka Bog me, guys. Next we have Frantic Search. It's 2 and a blue for an instant. You draw 2 cards, you discard 2 cards, and untap up to 3 lands. I like that card a lot.
Yeah. Next up is Gitaxian Probe. Phyrexian blue. So you can pay with either blue mana or 2 life. Look at target player's hand and draw a card.
I love that card.
It's so good.
2 life in Commander is nothing.
No.
Mm-hmm.
This is also a very fun card too. Gosh, I use it in a lot of decks. 4 and a blue. Instant, you can return 2 islands you control to the owner's hand rather than pay its cost, and you draw 2 cards. I really, really like its alternate cost. I don't think I've ever actually cast it for its 5 mana.
And it's just fun art too.
Yeah.
I always like talking about the art.
You've also got Preordain, another one that I like. 1 blue sorcery, scry 2 draw card. A lot of good solid 1 draw cards in here.
Yeah, you're going fast. I like that too. Next we have Treasure Cruise. It's 7 and a blue for sorcery. You can delve and then you can draw 3 cards. Also, you don't care to delve.
Nope. I wanna exile stuff.
Blasphemy.
The last one in this section is Windfall, 2 and a blue for sorcery. Each player discards their hand, then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards a player discarded this way.
Love this card. Love it so much.
Yeah.
Even looking at the artwork, it was meant to be used with Hull Breacher, and I think everyone here knows that.
Absolutely.
What is a Hull Breacher?
Hull Breacher did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I'm unfamiliar with the card Hull Breacher.
With how salty I get at so many cards, by the way, I just wasn't bothered by Hull Breacher. I was like, boo-hoo, I don't get a draw. Same with Leovold. Unban Leovold. Leovold is fun.
Yeah, Leovold did nothing wrong. That one I will stand behind.
I was actually talking about that with my girlfriend last night, about how Hull Breacher is just not a problem.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's got no inherent protection. You might get wheeled and not draw cards, but have you played against a Turgid deck? Like Turgid is significantly more of a problem than Hull Breacher ever was. I love Turgid, but like I've literally never had fun sitting on the other side of anyone who has Turgid on the table.
No, and honestly, like if Hull Breacher had like Hexproof or Indestructible or something like that, a little bit more understandable. But as it sat with Flash, no. Yeah,
it has no built-in protection. It's just a creature, and anyone can remove the creature, or again, you just don't draw, and someone gets some treasure tokens. But like, meh.
Yeah.
Meh. Everything gives treasure tokens.
I love treasure tokens so much.
I need a Revel in Riches, by the way. I need it so bad.
Same.
My interrupting your deck list. My group hug one is not going to be the Beamtown Bullies. It's going to be that Vazri one that puts treasure tokens into play under opponent's control.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you have to put a Revel in Riches.
Yeah.
It's so good.
All right. Where are we moving on to, Salty?
Let's go to the sorceries next. There's 4 of them. Argivian Restoration, 2 double blue. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Solid.
Some of the artifacts in here are going to be targets for removal, and it also has the utility of being able to bring something back to just sacrifice it again with Arcum Dagsson and search up another artifact.
I do love the next one too. Reshape X double blue. As an additional cost to cast it, you sack an artifact, search your library for an artifact with CMC X or less, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. I really, really like it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on with the art, but it's sick.
Yeah.
Next, we have Solve the Equation. It's 2 and a blue for a sorcery. You can search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. Also, sick artwork.
Yeah, I really like
the background. That's killer.
Mm-hmm. Jin-Gitaxias is like super, super tall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he must be far away.
Super weird. Awesome. Well, he slouches lots too. And then you also have Whelming Wave, and I really like this. It's 2 double blue, return all creatures to their owner's hand except for krakens, leviathans, octopuses, and serpents.
Is the plural for octopuses? Octopuses? I thought it was octopi.
Maybe? I don't know.
Quality control wizards.
Is it octopi or octopuses? Octopi sounds reasonable.
Yeah. I felt goofy saying octopuses.
Octopi is the oldest plural form of octopus. The correct plural form would logically be octopods.
Octopods?
Yeah, OCTOP.
I need to make an octopus deck and call it Welcome to the Octopod.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Octopuses is another plural, though. There's a lot of them.
I don't like it.
They have as many plurals as they have arms.
Don't love English.
All right, Captain Slothy, where is the ship going next?
Let's move over to Mana Acceleration.
I want to take this top one. He's sweet.
Yeah.
I now understand.
Yes. You do.
We have Grand Architect. 1 double blue for a 1/3 Vidalcan Artificer. Other blue creatures you control get +1/+1. You can pay a blue. Target artifact becomes blue until end of turn. You can tap an untapped blue creature you control, add double colorless, and then spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts.
I simply must jump ahead in the list to where it goes. I knew it was there. Yeah, I knew it was there the moment I saw that card. It's Pillapala. 2 mana artifact. It's a Scarecrow, 1/1 with flying, and it has 2 and an untap. You add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So with Grand Architect, once both are on the board, with 1 blue mana, you tap an untap blue creature. You tap Pillapala, get 2 mana, untap Pillapala, add 1 blue mana, repeat infinity until you have all of the mana in the world.
Yep.
Yes.
One of my favorite infinite generators.
Yeah.
And any color too, but not matters in this deck, but very fun.
No. You're not going to be making it green.
Yeah.
Sometimes Benson calls purple.
Fair enough.
Technically, there is nothing saying you can't call purple. It does say any color.
We hopping back up to Guardian Idol?
Yeah.
Well, I'll go ahead and read it since I named it. Guardian Idol, 2 colorless for an artifact. It enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it to add a colorless. You can pay 2, and it becomes a 2/2 golem artifact creature until end of turn.
That's solid. Ramp and something to sacrifice later on when you need it.
Yeah. Next up, we got Hedron Color, 2 generic for a 0/1 artifact creature construct. You can tap it to add colorless to your mana pool.
Super solid.
Yeah.
You don't really see this card played very often. We've got Mannequin. It's 2 mana. You add 1 colorless mana to your pool and play it only as a mana source. 1/1 artifact creature.
It's probably because people don't know what's going on in the art.
That's a weird looking artwork for sure.
He's just giving somebody a hand.
It's like he's made of springs, and that one arm has been unsprung.
I do love the flavor text because it talks about one of my favorite characters. Tanner regarded Squeeze sternly because it's not a toy, no matter how much it may look like one, she said. Taking a mannequin from him. It's very Squee-esque because it's going right to the grave when you don't need it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then next up, we got Ornithopter of Paradise. 2 for a 0/2 artifact creature Thopter with flying, and tap it to add 1 mana of any color.
Love that card.
Yeah, I was going to say I love Ornithopter of Paradise. I think it was it's a common, right? Yeah, it's such a good rarity for budget players and for just anything that doesn't have green in it and needs to accelerate.
Absolutely.
Or any deck that only plays creatures.
Yeah, true. Palladium Mirror is also another great mana rock creature. It's 3 mana for a 2/2 mirror, taps to add 2 mana.
Mm-hmm. We're skipping Pillow Palette because we already talked about it. Next, we have Silver Mirror. It's 2 for a 1/1 mirror, and you can tap it to add a blue.
Yeah. And then we got, what's that?
It looks like a knight. Like that should be a knight.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sorry, I'm on art today. My bad.
Then we got Soul Ring.
Ended off where every commander deck should.
Absolutely.
It's very rare something shouldn't have a Soul Ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are very few decks that don't require Soul Ring. Sometimes I take it as a personal mission. Like if I'm playing a green deck, I try not to play a Soul Ring.
I don't put it in my like the 4-color Omnath from the heavens. I don't. I've got like 3 of those put together too. I have a problem for sure.
You do have a problem. It's a landfall deck. That's why.
Every time I keep talking about, I'm like, oh yeah, I've got 3 of that deck. I'm like, I got a real problem. I have 5 Kenrith decks. I'm a monster. But yeah, no, it's just because he's the 4 mana, and like you said, my whole deck is built on land ramp. I just don't really need that Soul Ring in it. A lot of time it's wasted mana for me on my early turns. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's probably good in the deck, but literally the whole deck is just ramp, nothing else, only ramp. You've got a lot of good instants here. Do you want to go over those ones?
Absolutely.
I love this one. It's one of my favorite hose the table ones. Aetherize, 3 and a blue for instant. Return all attacking creatures to their owner's hand. I love taunting people into attacking me and then putting their creatures back.
Like I said, I've been talking about art, so there's no way I can skip this one. It's Blink of an Eye. It's 1 in a blue for an instant. As kicker, 1 in a blue. You return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand if the spell was kicked to draw a card.
Yeah.
There are eyes all over this Minotaur. It's so weird.
Next up, we've got Counterspell. Double blue to counter target spell.
I like it. Dispel as well. 1 blue to counter target instant.
Yeah. Then there's Foil. 2 double blue for an instant. You may discard an island card and another card rather than pay the spell's mana cost to counter target spell.
Man, Pauper got a lot of love from Double Masters.
Yeah. I love these flip lands. I think that they are so good utility wise. I really hope they do some more of them. They're from the Zendikar.
Yes.
It's Jwari Disruption, 1 in a blue for an instant. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 1. The back is Jwari Runes, enters tapped, adds a blue. So it's great for, like you said, the protection, but also just if you've got it, then you've got an extra land, because I noticed your lands are pretty light.
Yep.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Bless you, Zach.
I tried to get away from... I'm so sorry, guys. I tried to get away from the mic, and I just couldn't do it.
It's all good. I'm not editing it, so. we also have Negate. 1 of the blue, it's another instant counter target non-creature spell. Slothy's really not letting people play spells here.
No,
there's a couple spells in this deck that people aren't going to want to let resolve, so...
Protect the win con, I get it.
Exactly.
Next, we have Pongify, 1 blue for an instant. Destroy target creature, can't be regenerated. Its controller creates a 3/3 green ape creature token. Love it.
Yeah. Then there's Saw It Coming, 1 double blue. Counter target spell, and it's got Foretell for 1 in a blue.
I like that. I'm shocked you don't have the new one, an offer you can't refuse counterspell. I really like that one.
Yeah.
Give them treasure tokens to counter their spell. I love it.
But he does have Stoic Rebuttal.
Stoic Rebuttal is very good, yeah, with the Metalcraft. 1 double blue.
It costs 1.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Oh.
You go, Zach.
No, it's too late. You've embarrassed me.
Stoic Rebuttal, 1 double blue. Metalcraft, it costs 1 less to cast if you control 3 or more artifacts and you counter target spell.
I demand satisfaction, Dan.
I do really like this artwork on this one too, as we're talking about the art more today.
Yeah.
Reminds me very much of speaking of your Yu-Gi-Oh! The Mirror Force.
Yeah, right. Only it's not reflecting. No one plays Mirror Force anymore. It's very random.
I'm too old. That's what I would be playing.
Magic Cylinder's a thing, though. Go figure. Moving on, we have Unwind, 2 in a blue for an instant. Counter target non-creature spell, untap up to 3 lands. Dan loves this one.
I also love the flavor text on it too. Problem's only a problem if you don't have the tools to correct it. Love it.
Yeah. And the final instant is Whir of Invention X, triple blue. It's got Improvise, so your artifacts can help cast a spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1. Search your library for an artifact card with mana value X or less, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library.
And so fun little walk down memory lane for me. I took a break from Magic for a little while, and when I came back, the whole improvised mechanic was shown to me first, and I thought it was the absolute most broken thing ever. I still think it's very strong. I don't think it's broken anymore, but God, improvise is such a cool mechanic. I really want to see that again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Artifact Convoke, so good.
Yeah. Who knew Convoke was really good, so why not put it on artifacts?
Let's do your Planeswalkers.
Yeah.
You obviously have Lab Jace. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, 1 triple blue. If you would draw while you have no cards in your library, you win. Obviously, you're trying to get rid of your library. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
+1 target player puts the top 2 cards of their library in the graveyard, draw a card. -8, draw 7. Then if you have no cards in it, you win the game.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Then we've got Narset, Partner of Veils. This is one of my favorite cards. 1 double blue for a 5-mana Narset. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. -2, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order.
Yeah, solid card.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about creatures before we get too far away, because there's some over here I keep looking at that I'm like wanting to talk about.
Absolutely.
So I want to take the top one because I actually really like this card and I use it a lot. It's Crashing Drawbridge. It's 2 for an artifact creature wall, 0/4 with Defender. You can tap it, and creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Having a colorless creature to give your creatures haste is actually really, really powerful. Even though it's a little slow, it's still very good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Next up, we've got Emery, Lurker of the Loch, 1 and a blue for a 1/2 legendary creature, Merfolk Wizard. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. When Emery, Lurker of Loch enters the battlefield, put the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard, and you can tap it to choose target artifact in your graveyard. You may cast it this turn.
So, question, Slothy. Do you always play Arcum Dagsson as your commander, or do you ever switch between the two?
So far, I've only played Arcum.
Okay.
Just because there's no real tutors in the deck other than the couple where you can search your library for an artifact.
Sure. I was just curious. I have a friend at the LGS that has an Emery deck that's similar, not exact. So I was just curious.
Emery's such a cool card. That was one of Connor's like fast competitive decks.
I could see that.
Yeah, Emery does work and kind of makes it doesn't really matter if you get countered if you're playing Emery as your commander, because you're just like, I will go ahead and just cast the win con again.
Yeah.
Let me replay.
I'll destroy it. It's
nothing.
crazy you said that. Let me go ahead and do it again.
It's like Carador. I love it.
Yeah. I really like the blue recursion from the grave. Emery's super cool. The next one, obviously, also good in a deck like this. Ethereum Sculptor, 1 and a blue. Vidalcan Artificer, 1/2. And your artifact spells are 1 less.
Yeah.
Oh, the next one's mean.
Yeah, the next one is Fate Spinner, 1 double blue for a 1/2 human wizard. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player chooses draw step, main phase, or combat phase. The player skips each instant of the chosen step or phase this turn.
That's ridiculous. I knew what this card does, but it's ridiculous. All right, I'm going to read this one because it feels fair. It's Gleaming Barrier. It's 2 for another wall, and it's an artifact creature, 0/4 with Defender. And when it dies, you create a treasure token.
Solid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good.
We have Lab Maniac for the same reason we have Lab Jace, 2 and a blue. If you draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game. 2/2 Wizard.
Yeah.
Oh, the opposite of nice.
Next up is Lodestone Golem, 4 for a 5/3 artifact creature golem. Non-artifact spells cost 1 more to cast.
That's mean.
That's good to slow things down for sure.
Yeah.
I love this artwork as one of my, I've always loved it. It's a very, very cool card. And again, another really, really good reprint brought the price down. Master Transmuter, 3 and a blue for an artifact creature, Human Artificer, 1/2. You do 1 blue and a tap, return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. You may put an artifact from your hand onto the battlefield. I just love getting something like an Ornithopter back to hand to go drop down like a Darksteel Forge.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's such a good card, and it's drawn so well.
Yeah, Chippy doesn't do enough artwork anymore. Next, we have Mirror Retriever, another card that I actually really like. It's 2 for a artifact creature, Mirror, 1/1. When it dies, return another target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. This card does so much work in so many different decks, and it's so innocuous. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one, I feel like it's kind of an auto-include in a deck like this. Ornithopter. 0 mana for 0/2 artifact creature Thopter with fly.
Oh, Ornithopter.
I like this one too. Psy, Master Thopterist. 2 and a blue, Human Artificer, 1/4. Whenever you cast an artifact, you get a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature with flying. 1 in the blue, sack 2 artifacts, draw a card. That's everything you want. Like, it gives you a draw engine. It creates artifacts for you that you can sacrifice. Like, it's a great card in this deck.
Yeah.
Next one's another weird art that I'm taking because I like it. It's Spellskite. It's 2 for an artifact creature horror 0/4. You can pay 1 Phyrexian blue, so you can either pay a blue or 2 life. Change a target of target spell or ability to Spellskite. Wild card. Such a wild card.
Next up is Thassa's Oracle. 1/3 Merfolk Wizard for double blue. When Thassa's Oracle enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion to blue. Put up to one of them on top of your library, the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love Thassa's Oracle.
Absolutely.
Especially with the trigger on the stack. I like it.
Yep.
Can't just destroy it, but we can't have Hull Breacher. Bring it back. We've got Tribute Mage, 2 and a blue for a 2/2 wizard. Human wizard. When it enters the battlefield, you can search your library for an artifact with CMC 2, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. I assume that you're fetching Pilla-Palla?
Yeah. Usually, there's one other that we'll get into that's will also be a target, kind of depending on where things are, but it's usually Pilla-Palla, yeah.
And the final creature you have in your list here is Workshop Assistant. It's 3 for an artifact creature construct, 1/2. When it dies, you return another target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go to your exile segment or your artifact segment?
Let's do artifacts, then jump into lands, because there's a couple of those. If that works for you guys.
Yeah, I'm taking this top one. It's such a cool card.
This is the other one that you'll search for with Tribute Mage.
It's Liquid Metal Torque. It's 2 for an artifact. You can tap it to add a colorless, and then you can tap it and target non-land permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until end of turn.
It's a very good card.
It's so cool. It does so many, it makes so many things possible. Like, not just, I guess, kind of degenerate things for sure, but it also just makes a lot of silly interactions happen that probably shouldn't be able to happen.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the key cards in my saltiest deck. I love that card.
Yeah. This next one is
the point of the deck.
The point of the deck, yeah. This is Mirror of Fate, 5 generic for an artifact. You can tap to sacrifice Mirror of Fate, choose up to 7 face-up exiled cards you own. Exile all the cards from your library, then put the chosen cards on top of your library. This is colorless Doomsday.
So you need to be able to exile your library first, and then you sack the Mirror of Fate to get what you want back.
Yeah, there's ways of doing that, and there's also ways of just searching out things from your library, just exiling those right away.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. So that's 7 face-up exiled cards you own. I like it. You've got Moonsilver Key, which is another card I think was just an amazing print of the year.
Absolutely.
A 2 mana artifact that has 1 and a tap. Sack it, search your library for an artifact with a mana ability or a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. I really, really like that card. Again, to fetch Pilla-Palla.
Yep.
Everything fetches Pilla-Palla when you play competitive.
Next we have Mystic Forge. It's 4 for an artifact. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast the top card of your library if it's an artifact card or a colorless non-land card, or you can tap it and pay 1. Well, I guess you don't, or it's still the same thing. You can tap and pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library.
Yeah, Forge is awesome. Yeah. Oh, and exiling it, you can go and I like that.
Yeah. Next one is, I feel like it's one that Zach's not going to like. Soul Guide Lantern, 1 for an artifact. When Soul Guide Lantern enters the battlefield, exile target card from a graveyard. You can tap and sack it to exile each opponent's graveyard, and you can tap 1 and tap it and sack it to draw a card.
It's got a lot of utility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then you have the Zoom Boots.
We love the Zoom Boots.
Yeah, Swiftfoot, 2 mana, equip creature has hexproof and haste, equip 1.
Yeah. So before we get into the exile section, which is kind of the big one, just going to rifle through some of the lands real quick. So first one, Academy Ruins. You can tap it for colorless, tap 1 in blue and tap it, put target artifact card from your graveyard on top of your library. Buried Ruin, tap it for colorless, tap 2 and tap it, sack it, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Cephalid Colosseum, tap it for blue and it deals 1 damage, and it's got Threshold, so you can tap blue and tap it to sacrifice it. Target player draws 3 and discards 3. Darksteel Citadel, artifact land, add colorless. Mystic Sanctuary, enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more other islands. When it enters the battlefield untapped, you may put target instant or sorcery from your graveyard on top of your library. And Seed of the Synod, artifact land, tap for blue.
And also we have 25 islands.
Yeah. Yeah, so this deck runs 31 lands, 32 if you include the flip card.
Ooh.
It's light.
Yeah.
Now you want to do your bread and butter section?
Absolutely. Dan, why don't you start us off with this one?
We got Curse of the Swine. Yeah, I love this card in everything, especially in Hinata. But Curse of the Swine, X double blue, exile X target creatures. For each creature exiled this way, controller gets a 2/2 green boar creature token. Solid card.
Nice.
Yeah. This is one you can kind of pick and choose. Like if you get your something out and you just kind of want to pitch it for later, you can exile one of your things as well, bring it back.
I like this next one too a lot. I actually want to take this one too. Very old card, and I love seeing old unplayed cards. Therese Nielsen art. I like all her artwork. Foresight, 1 and a blue. Search your library for any 3 cards and remove them from the game. Shuffle your library afterwards, and you draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. That's awesome for what you're doing in this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's very cool because they're safe in exile.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I like that. All right, Slothy, you got to take this one.
I will. This next one is Leveler. 5 mana for a 10/10 artifact creature. When it comes into play, remove your library from the game.
This is not in the Beamtown Bullies list. Wink, wink.
I was going to say, I don't believe you, Dan.
It may possibly be in the Beamtown Bullies list.
May possibly.
Oh man, I love that deck so much.
All right. Next, we have Manipulate Fate. It's 1 and a blue for sorcery. You search your library for 3 cards, remove them from the game, then shuffle your library, and you get to draw a card. So it's basically Foresight.
Yeah, but instead
That's
of drawing
awesome.
it the next turn's upkeep, you draw right away.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love utility cards like that.
Again, another card you don't see. I've never seen someone run this one. Search your library for any 3 cards, remove them from the game, then shuffle your library. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. I like this next one a lot too. Misdirection. It's 3 double blue for an instant. You may exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay Misdirection's mana cost, and you change the target spell with a single target. Also, super super awesome. I've played this card a lot actually.
Yeah, I like this one.
It's just silly.
I also really like Raven Form, 2 and a blue. Sorcery, exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 1/1 blue bird creature with flying, and it has Foretell, 1 blue. So during your turn, you can pay 2, exile it from your hand, face down, cast it later on a later turn for its Foretell cost.
Yeah, what's not to like? This sword's turned into a bird.
I wish there was more Foretell support. Like, I really... Ranner's such a fun deck, and it functions really well as an exile theme deck, but like Foretell was just such a good card, and Dream Devourer should have been blue.
I liked it in black.
Yeah, well, obviously you liked it in black.
Well, obviously. Black didn't get a lot of Foretell love.
Yeah, I know. That's why it didn't make sense to put the best Foretell card in black.
Well, yeah, because it made everything Foretell in black.
I know.
So they only need 1 card for 1 slot.
That's all they need?
It makes perfect sense. Yeah.
This next card, too, annoys me very, very much. Sloth, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I do. Reality Shift. 1 and a blue, instant. Exile target creatures, control manifest top card of their library.
I hate this card. It's like, especially because like when you play like in like a higher power stuff, there's so many things that tutor to the top of a library of like, oh, worldly tutor, blah, blah, blah. You put what you want on top and then you just manifest it as a 2/2. Oh, it makes me mad. It's a great card.
Then, I was going to say, then it's a good card.
Yeah. I'll Mystic Tutor. Yeah, well, you'll Mystic Tutor to a 2/2.
You really wanted that little guy, didn't you?
This is really cool artwork.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take it because it's cool artwork. It's Resculpt. It's 1 and a blue for an instant. You exile a target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token.
Solid instant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually one I haven't seen much, really. Like, I know we went over Strixhaven lots, but that's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like sleeper cards from Strixhaven.
Well, I think a lot of things people don't think about, which is something I'm really bad about, but I've recently, since I've been playing more competitively, I've been like getting into the habit of thinking about, like, you see something staple like, well, you're going to exile an artifact or a creature, and then that person gets a 4/4. When you think about it, like a 4/4 is large in comparison, but you're giving them a vanilla 4/4 and getting rid of like their
best creature, their Avacyn.
Exactly. Yeah, some people don't. I think sometimes, because I am very bad about that, and like I said, until I've been playing competitively recently, I haven't really thought about it. Like, yeah, I'd rather deal with a vanilla creature because it's probably going to be easier to deal with, even if it's larger than this creature that has evasion or has like this really broken ability or is just very strong in general. So that's probably why we don't see stuff like this as often as we really should.
We're like right near the end of your list, but I have to say, like, I love your card selection for this. Like, it's very fun. You've got like I'll save my thoughts at the end. You can finish the last one because it's another cool one.
Sure. So the final card in this deck is Selective Memory, 3 and a blue for a sorcery. Search your library for any number of non-land cards and exile them, and then shuffle your library. And any number. You can just take your entire library and get rid of it.
That's silly.
Except for your lands.
Yeah, and you're trying to level her anyways, so you've got so much. I feel like now that we've gone through the list, before I give my other thoughts there, Arcum Dagsson does so much in this list.
Yes.
So much. You have so much fodder to sack and get whatever you want out. The moment you have your exile thing on board, you're almost guaranteed to be able to, in response to the exile, fetch out your Mirror of Fate that you want.
Yep.
Like, I really, really like this, really like this, like, whole setup. Like, Arcum being used this way is really, really cool. It's again, you've got so many like unique cards that you don't see, and especially for like a higher power and like fairly competitive-ish deck, because even if you weren't trying to infinite out the table, there's lots of like other ways to play this deck that could be solid. But you've got some great infinite combos, you've got some great protection, and you like it's $160 deck.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I like so much about this, is like, it seems like a very, very good, like, intro high power deck. The cost is amazing, and it looks so fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one we were talking last week. I was asking if you had any suggestions for it, but I did want to keep it under $200.
Yeah.
Which, very happy that I did, because this is one that I want to take to the event that we're going to.
Yeah, the two-headed giant stuff?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
The two-headed giant's so fun to play, but yeah, like I think that this is just like such a cool way. I like you win stuff, because then you don't have to, a lot of times, like, playing, you've got to like threat assessment of like, okay, well, like if Zach's running a Pillow Fort and I don't have much enchantment removal, I can't really get around this, or blah 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 has hexproof, or blah 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 has Teferi's protection, yada yada yada. It's just nice to be able to be like, no, Thassa's Oracle, I win.
Yeah, exactly.
I really like that.
Yeah. One thing, kind of like with the infinite combos, I didn't want to have like too many tutors, because I didn't want this deck to just be over the top.
Well, I think your commander's like a fun tutor.
Yeah. Yeah, but like if you're going for like Grand Architect and Pilla-Palla, Blue Sun, you can get rid of those with Manipulate Fate, then bring them back and just have those ones, because with Mirror of Fate it's up to.
Oh, I didn't even see the up to. I thought you had to bring 7. You can just bring, you could literally just bring 1, draw Thassa's Oracle, and win.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah, like when I was playtesting it, it kind of seemed that I was either going for like the Thassa's Oracle, Lab Jace, Lab Man, stuff like that, or I was going for Blue Suns, Pilla-Palla, Grand Architect.
Well, one thing that I like about this, like I said, like you obviously you could speed it up if you increased your budget. Like you could throw in mana crypts, mana like vaults,
yeah,
all of that kind of stuff, like your Lotus Petals, your blah blah blah, Force of Will instead of a foil. But like, I like this list. This is like a fun, high power list. Like this can sit down. Like obviously, it might not beat like your ad nauseum, but you have a lot of counterspell. Like I think it's just a really really cool card. It's got lots of disruption. I like this deck a lot.
Well, I appreciate that.
I like the toolbox aspect. It reminds me a lot of Tashar, which is also another huge artifact deck, but it's in white, and it has the same kind of toolbox mentality, but in a different vein. Like you're still using artifacts as like your acceleration, right? But ultimately, like you're not necessarily winning with artifacts. You're winning because of artifacts, right? Like because you're doing this cool exile your stuff away so that it can't be dealt with. It's sitting there until you're ready to go off, which is a very unique take on, I think, an artifact-based commander, right? I would expect to see this be more of like you're winning because of Pilla-Palla, because of Grand Architect, that kind of stuff. But the fact that you could win because of Leveler and Thassa's Oracle or, Lab Man, whatever the line may be, it's still interesting. If I lost that way, I would just be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Can you like break it down and show me that again? Because like that's interesting, right?
You could also really, really fast with this deck. Like if you were to do like a Basalt Monolith Rings of Brighthearth.
Oh, absolutely.
That gives you your infinite mana really, really fast for things. Like, and you could like put more like a Goblin Charlebelch or something like that in it and just like cycle through. This lets you fetch up so many win cons so easily.
At a very good budget, like we had spoken about. And I'm just curious here, because we kind of gotten away from doing this, but your average CMC is 2.78. So like you're not going to be hurting to do multiple things a turn.
No. And that's kind of why I went down to the 31 lands.
Mm-hmm.
Just because with your more expensive spells like Mirror of Fate, you're not paying 5 for that. You're tutoring it out.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Just looking back to one of the ones that I was talking about, the Goblin Charlebelcher.
Mm-hmm.
It's if you're unfamiliar with that one, it's 3 and a tap. So it's 4 mana for an artifact, 3 and a tap. Reveal cards from your library until you reveal a land. It deals damage equal to the number of non-land revealed this way. If the revealed card's a mountain, it deals double that damage. Put the revealed cards on the bottom in any order. So like it is nice to like fate seal your deck at the bottom, but if you just have infinite mana, you can just kill everyone with it by leaving 1 mana in the deck.
Yeah.
I think that you've got like a lot of really, really cool things in it. Like this is a deck that I'd be interested in building and like having as just like a fun pull out for like a little bit of a higher tier game. Like where people are playing kind of combos where people are trying to combo off and trying to protect it. Like this is a list that I would play and add to my collection for sure. Nice. I like both your and Zach's like brew styles. Like they're both so uniquely different than mine, and they like seem so like fun to play. A lot of what you guys like build is just fun looking. Like the Carador Yamori and stuff, like so much toolbox in it. It's just fun. I like fun creative builds, and I think that's what you've done with this.
I am the best.
What would you say before we head out here? What do you think the weakness of this deck is?
The weakness I feel is probably that people are going to be, people know what Arcum Dagsson can do. And as soon as they understand, like, oh, he's like Mirror of Fate's not really a popular card, but if people know kind of what's going on, they're just going to continually target Arcum, so you can't tutor that out.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 cards that come to mind to me that I think shut this deck down. Nullrod, Collector Oof, and Stony Silence.
Absolutely.
But you run the Pongify, so you can deal with Collector Oof. You could, if they Nullrod you could Arcum Dagsson them. So that's kind of funny. And Stony Silence would be I think the hardest thing for you to deal with if you don't have a counter spell. But you could blink of an eye it. You could blink of an eye it. So I think.
Go ahead, sorry.
But I think you could outpace that stuff. By the time people realize what's going on, I think it's going to be too late.
Yeah.
Another really easy fun line you could do in this is you've got so much ability to fetch your artifacts, like so much improvise, that like you could really, really easily do like if someone was to have shut it down in the one way, you'd be able to tutor out really easy Aetherflux Reservoir, a Cloudstone Curio, and just bounce your 0-cost artifacts and be like, infinite life, kill you both.
Yeah, that's true.
I love combos. Love them. I think that this is like, yeah, like I think Arcum has I might build a competitive-ish Arcum, like my own high-powered version, because I never even thought of his like tutor ability in that sense. I just always like put it in like Vile Smasher and Silas, or like Brutaclad. Like it's in those decks for me.
Yeah.
And it's usually to go get Darksteel Forge.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. That's like the whole point of it every time. I've only ever used this card to fetch Darksteel Forge, I believe. So
nice.
It's cool that you have so much more utility than just get this one card and only this one card ever.
Yeah. I play Godo, CDH. I do enough of that.
That's fair, yeah. You know the one card you're looking for already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is a very cool list. Like I think it's very fun. What do you think, Zach? Would you play this one before we head out here?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a lot of fun. Like I said, it follows that toolbox aspect that I like. It makes me feel weird to exile stuff, but it's for the greater good. So yeah, I think you did good, Slothy.
Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's we'll end it off there. Zach, you want to let everyone know where they can find our stuff? Slothy loved the deck, and Zach, take it away.
Sure. So thank you for making it to the end of the episode. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to find more content from us, you can go to instant99.com. That's your one-stop shop for all things Instant 99, whether that be previous episodes, YouTube content, wonderful articles by different content creators in our group, or even the link to our Discord. You can even find merch there if you really want to start repping us in public. And as always, you can visit abyssproxyshop.com, use our promo code IT99 to get 10% off your first order. If these quality cards on here you want to get proxied into something, that's all I got for you guys. So have a good day.
Thanks for listening.
Peace.